We have the honor of having here today Jason Rheinberg, who is a Deputy Director for Eastern Europe and Central Asia at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. Thank you for being here, Jason.
It's an absolute pleasure.
After our discussion upstairs, I'd like you to ask a couple of questions, if you don't mind. First of all, what would you say are the lessons to be learned from our relation between the European Union and Russia?
Well, I think since 1991, essentially, we have hoped to bind Russia much closer into the international system that we live, and also begin to get a convergence of values. So we brought Russia into the WTO and the G8 and the G20 and the OSCE. We formed cooperation councils through the EU and through NATO, and this is all about bringing Russia sort of much closer to us in values and in understanding of how to deal with the world. And I think Ukraine has shown us quite clearly that we failed in that strategy. The human rights situation in Russia is getting significantly worse. Freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, civil society activisms are all seen as a threat to Russia as opposed to a benefit that we see in our vibrant societies. And Ukraine has shown us essentially that Russia doesn't believe in some of the core things that we do that keep us safe, such as the sovereignty of nation states or following the will of the people. So I think the lessons that we've learned is that our attempt to form a truly strategic partnership with Russia is not possible at the moment, and that we need to form a different relationship with Russia, one that manages some of the fundamental differences we have at the same time as engages where we need to.
And elaborating a little bit on that, how should the relation with Russia look like in the near future?
Well, in the near future, then, we really think we should be focusing on Ukraine. And there are three pillars to what the EU is doing on Ukraine, which we believe are essential. The first one is diplomacy. There is no military solution to this, so we need to see the Minsk agreement delivered. A sustainable ceasefire, withdrawal of heavy weapons, ending of Russian military support, local elections, the constitutional change that benefits all the people of Ukraine, and then fundamentally the securing of the border so that Ukraine can be a sovereign territory. The second pillar is our support to Ukraine. We need to make sure that Ukraine is a success, help it deliver the reforms that it promises us to do. And in the very short term is give as much humanitarian aid as we possibly can because of the terrible situation there. And then the third pillar of the strategy is maintaining the pressure on Russia. Sanctions are a vital part. They got Russia to the negotiating table, and we need to maintain them until Russia fully implements the Minsk agreement. We're happy to lift them once Ukraine is resolved, but they must stay in place, because that is the pressure we have in order to ensure that Russia lives up to its side of the bargain. So that's the short term, is really about Ukraine. In the long term, we do need a new relationship. I think that relationship is still based on working with Russia. They are an important partner to us on global security issues and business and the economy. But we need to be very clear about what we want to achieve with Russia and how, and not believe that simply by being generous and cooperating across the board that Russia will return that generosity. We need to be much clearer, I think, in our objectives. We also need to do much more to build people-to-people links. We don't have a problem with the Russian people. It is the current government and their policies. So we should build those links, and we should support civil society where we can. But I think we also need to look better at making sure that Russia cannot interfere in our deliberations within Europe or within the sovereign decisions of those countries in the former Soviet Union. So this is about ensuring that our NATO deterrence is very clear. It's about understanding some of the threats that this new hybrid warfare may bring. And it's about reducing some of our dependencies on Russia, for example, when it comes to energy, or indeed the sort of huge propaganda effort that Russia uses in the neighborhood and in the EU itself, so making sure that we are able to get our messages back as well.
Well, thank you very much, Jason. I think we have now a better understanding of your position in this issue, and we're very pleased, as I said before, of having you here.
Thank you very much.